The Russian Defense Ministry released footage on June 11th showing the second stage of drills involving non-strategic nuclear forces. The exercises are designed to maintain the readiness of personnel and equipment for the combat use of non-strategic nuclear weapons by Russia and Belarus, ensuring the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Union state, the ministry said in a statement.
Russia has been regularly conducting exercises of strategic nuclear forces and non-strategic nuclear deterrent forces. The only difference is that after deploying part of the non-strategic nuclear potential on the territory of Belarus, we are doing this together with our Belarusian allies. This is the first. Secondly, we treat the security of Belarus in exactly the same way as we treat the security of the Russian Federation, and this is probably the key element of our cooperation in this area. As for compliance with Russia's obligations in this area, we fully comply with all our obligations in the field of nuclear weapons.
The first stage of these drills, which involved tactical nuclear weapons, took place in May in Russia's southern military district, which borders Ukraine. The drills were initially announced on May 6th, with the Defense Ministry stating that they were a response to provocative statements and threats from certain Western officials regarding the Russian Federation. This marks the first time Russia has publicly announced drills involving tactical nuclear weapons, although its strategic nuclear forces regularly conduct exercises. Tactical nuclear weapons include air bombs, warheads for short-range missiles, and artillery munitions intended for use on the battlefield. These weapons are less powerful than strategic nuclear weapons, which are designed to obliterate entire cities. In 2023, Russia moved some of its tactical nuclear weapons into Belarus, which also borders Ukraine and NATO members Poland, Latvia, and Lithuania. Moscow has emphasized that the tactical nuclear weapons deployed to Belarus remain under Russian military control. Meanwhile, Putin has also ordered a nuclear-powered submarine, the Kazan, on the shores of the US, which might lead to the days of Cuban Missile Crisis in the 1960s. In a significant development amid escalating tensions with the United States, a Russian nuclear-powered submarine, Kazan, along with 3 other naval vessels, is scheduled to visit Havana next week, according to an announcement by Cuba's Ministry of the Revolutionary Armed Forces. This visit is part of a broader display of Russia's military capabilities and strategic alliances. The vessels, which include the missile frigate Admiral Gorshkov, an oil tanker, and a salvage tug, will dock in the Cuban capital from June 12th to 17. Importantly, the ministry emphasized that none of the vessels are carrying nuclear weapons, stating, "Their stopover in our country does not represent a threat to the region." This announcement follows a recent warning from President Vladimir Putin regarding the potential use of nuclear weapons, highlighting the growing geopolitical friction between Russia and the United States, particularly over the ongoing conflict in Ukraine.
For some reason, they believe in the West that Russia will never use it. We have our nuclear doctrine. Look at what is written there. If somebody's action will threaten our sovereignty and territorial integrity, we consider it possible to use all means at our disposal.
US officials have been monitoring the movement of Russian warships and aircraft expected to arrive in the Caribbean for a military exercise. While noting the presence of the Russian military, US authorities have downplayed any immediate concern, but acknowledged the context of heightened tensions. President Putin has suggested that Moscow could undertake asymmetrical steps globally in response to President Joe Biden's decision to authorize Ukraine to use US-provided weapons for defensive operations against Russian forces, especially in and around Kharkiv, Ukraine's second-largest city. The deployment of the Russian submarine and other naval vessels to Cuba is seen as a strategic move, coinciding with President Biden's participation in the G7 leaders' summit in Italy. The visit also underscores the deepening ties between Russia and Cuba, highlighted by Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel's recent meeting with President Putin in Moscow for the annual the 9th of May military parade. The arrival of the Russian fleet in Havana will be marked by a ceremonial salute of 21 salvos from one of the ships, reciprocated by an artillery battery from Cuba's Revolutionary Armed Forces, symbolizing the strong bond between the two nations. This visit not only demonstrates Russia's naval prowess, but also serves as a reminder of the enduring strategic partnership between Russia and Cuba in the face of global geopolitical shifts.